We need to have Botania and Thormcraft. If you don't know what those mods are, Botania is a magic mod that is all about flowers, nature, trees, things of that general consensus. Very happy looking, and it uses a lot of space. It's not really wand magic based, it's magic based on more of a spiritualistic mindset, I guess. Then there's Thormcraft. Thormcraft, or Thomcraft, I don't know how you pronounce it, I always say Thormcraft, is more of the stereotypical Harry Potter type magic where you get a wand and you can, zap things with the wand and you suck energy out of little nodes in the sky and you can collect that energy, and with that energy you can make different items by infusing items with that energy. And we need both of the mods in order to get into Draconic Evolution, which is the endgame of most mod packs. It's definitely the end game of this. Since we're playing expert mode, I have to use these mod packs in order to get to Draconic Evolution. So that's why we're doing it. If you didn't know, or you don't watch all my videos, I guess, figured to fill everyone in while I'm doing this. I've made it my New Year's resolution to upload a video a week. I'd be interested to see, like, from other people's point of view, I probably have aged quite a lot. I've gone through so many different haircuts. I love showing people my driver's license because it looks exactly like hippie Bill Clinton, which, if you've never seen, is a hilarious photo. I'll throw it up here. It's interesting what types of looks people go through. I have face blindness. Well, I have personal face, what would you call that? There's got to be like a word for that I'm not aware about. It's you're blind of what you look like. Like, I think that I'm ugly and fat. I don't know what looks good on me, how good I look, period, and whatnot. People do compliment me, so I guess that is my only idea of knowing that I am attractive. So I can take that with a true grain of salt. I don't know where I was going with this, to be honest. So since I was talking about that, I've gone through a lot of changes in my life, and that's kind of why, is because I have this face blindness that I have no idea how I look to other people. My only realistic understanding of how I look growing up was from a conservative family. So as I got into my 20s and I started dating my current girlfriend, I started doing different things because she actually really likes it when I have long hair. I don't like it at all when I have long hair. I figured that out, but during that time I had to figure that out. I also, I like my beard to be maybe a little bit shorter than it is right now. I went to church one time and my great uncle came up to me and he was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? How's your work going?" "Oh, work's going great. I just got a new job. It's been super great. They really like me. I've got some job security, I feel like, because they really required me." Like, this is when I first got my job and I replaced 2 people at my current job and I was just work overload, you know what I mean? And he was like, "Oh, well, that's good. I was going to make some comment about your facial hair and that how it makes you look homeless, but if you already have the job, then you don't need to really worry about getting a job." Like, he was implying that he would never have hired someone with my facial hair. And it was like this. It wasn't even that bad. It was just like how I have it now. Uh, and things like that always stick in your brain because there are so many people in the world that judge one another based off of the smallest, littlest things. And no offense, but it is mostly rural people because they don't meet a lot of people from different cultures and different groups of ethnicity and whatnot because they are just around the people they grew up with all their life. and people from other countries aren't going to move in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Uh, and like, how could they even? Buying a house in the middle of nowhere, like a farmhouse, buying farmland and whatnot is insanely expensive. So, of course, these types of people are going to have very different views about life. And it's just always fascinating to me how my family and extended family has always judged things like that. And I've done a really good job lately of just ignoring it, I guess. Because I don't care. Like I said, I have face blindness. I straight up do not care. The way I look is for my girlfriend, and that's it. Nobody else should care what I look like other than my significant other. And I think that is a very positive way of looking at things. Like, that is just how it should be. When you're single and you don't have a significant other, it gets a little confusing because you start questioning yourself. So I guess I can just be happy that I have one now. But I remember when I didn't have my girlfriend, I just chose a look. I was like, I look like this and I'm happy I look like this and I'm just going to stick with this look, which is kind of how I look now, is how I looked when I met my girlfriend. It makes me feel safe looking like this. It's easy to manage and whatnot. Not that she affirms how I feel or how I look, because she does on her own, but it's not that I need it. Like, I'm not a person that when someone affirms me, I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Or I'm like looking for affirmation. I've never been that type of person at all. It's nice to hear it anyways, because I guess it at least tells me what I need to know. If you're single, though, you need to just have confidence. It's weird how relationships work, is that it's just purely confidence. I believe that meeting someone and going out with someone is 90% confidence. Well, okay, that's a lie. Okay, looks do matter quite a lot because certain people will judge how you look, your weight. It tells a lot about you. Even if you're a larger person, it's not because you're a larger person, it's because being a larger person normally implies that you eat unhealthily or you tend to be really um, you don't necessarily strive and plan and work towards a specific overarching goal and image. But that's an assumption from those people. You might not be like that, but from the outside world you need to understand and agree that other people will think that. And the sad reality of the world is that everything we do, say, and feel will be judged by the people on the outside world, and you need to make a decision to either agree and try to change and try to be different and change yourself based on how other people think of you, or completely deny it, or a little bit of both here or there, depending on the situation. I think everyone has that, but a lot of people also try to go like completely one way or the other. Like, I feel like right now we're seeing such a hardcore arrogant mindset of people that are just don't tell don't tell me what to think, do, or feel. Like, don't judge me, don't. And it's like, no, you should be judged. Like, society does judge you and you need to value society's judgment. Because if you don't value society's judgment at all, then you get into other issues. Like, no offense if my brother ever hears this, but my brother is someone who does not give a fuck what society thinks about him. And it comes off as a vibe of that he is purely self-entitled and he's doing things for himself and he's looking out for himself, number one. And that is not an attractive personality trait. You're going to have a hard time finding a significant other and being happy with that significant other being like that. You might find one, but it's just fighting all the time. You hate each other. Or, like, if you're in a relationship like that, you got to be completely subservient to that person. You know what I mean? There's not a scenario where someone's completely self-entitled. You're in a committed, non-cheating, or not, or a monogamous relationship, and they somehow treat you well. I guess being treated well is subjective. Some people are grown up in third world countries where murder is the norm. So I guess not being murdered, shit. I didn't know about any of this stuff when I was a kid. Looking at the news constantly now as an adult, places like Iran, Saudi Arabia, Sharia law run government, men are allowed to beat their women into submission and their children a lot of times. It's so wild, and there's so many terribly mind altering cases of women who tried to get a divorce and the husband then kills her, and they only get like 6 months in prison because it was an honor killing, and killing someone for the sake of your honor and your family's name, that honoring your family's name is a lowers the sentence considerably. So if you can argue that, well, she wanted a divorce with me, and our community looks down on people who has divorced, she's ruining my family name, so I killed her, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's understandable, I suppose. I can get that. And that's just mind-boggling to me, you know? I can't... I just can't understand ever being in that mind. Just... It's so selfish to me. And I believe... It's not... They don't think it's selfish. It's, more like planned, you know what I mean? Planned... A lot of... Everyone some... Not everyone. Some... You can tell the edible's kicking in. Some people... If you want to have a society that does the right thing, you need some sort of authority that is outside of just you, which gets authoritarian, which is why dictatorships worked so well for those people at the time until it got to war and whatnot. Dictatorships worked. Kingships and queenships, the caste system... All this stuff does work because it keeps people in line. But that's the thing, is that you do need this. You do need something to keep people in line. Now, hold on a minute. Don't jump to conclusions of what I'm talking about yet. I'm saying you need this because historically we've always needed it. I'm optimistic. I think that as long as people know that, what I just said, and really remember it and keep that true at their heart, then they can be the difference. People don't need a religion or a government even the group of people around you to keep you in place, to keep you doing the right things, to just do what's right. That's it. It's just do what's right. And if you think that you need something to help you do what's right, or else what's the point? Then what's the point of life at all, right? Like, I feel like the point of my life is to just better my life and the generations after me. As long as I have benefited the generation after me, I've done my job. That's just what being a human is that we make life better for the next generation. I think that's really true. Like, if you think about it deeply, that's probably how we evolved. When we were little nomadic tribes people out in the woods, killing other men just for being near another female, and basically hard R-ing everyone we wanted in sight, there became a moment where we had to realize that what is the point of any of this? And the conclusion was to make it better for the next generation. And when it got to that point, I think that's when we started having tribes, and we started getting into groups of people to protect ourselves, our family, our children. And as we created groups of people, that was enough for a long time. For a long time, that's all we needed, was to just say, hey, it's for the next generation. But of course, it's in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. You look up in the sky, you see a bunch of little holes in the sky. You're like, whoa, we live in a clay pot that that people poke a bunch of needles in. God, it's so crazy and interesting, isn't it? Like, it's just forever infinite. Because some people believe that nowadays, but that's also what they must have believed back in the day. And when you get to that level, then that just forms religion. You know, it becomes a rim world religion where we create our own religion and just stand by it. And when people start asking questions, you just answer it and write it down. And eventually, you've just got all the answers to everything. Like, it sounds really narcissistic to say that, I guess, because it sounds very insensitive. But there's a long point in my life where I thought that you can solve any problem in the world. Wow. That that concussion creeper teleported me into the nether portal. That would have been funny if I just like teleported into the nether. I should have acted that out. See, a lesser YouTuber would have stood still and been like, "Oh no, we're in the nether!" And we ain't like that. We're just some farmers. Oh, Jesus! The fuck? That was a little endermite? What the fuck is it doing out here? We're just a farmer destroying trees for the next generation. Oh boy. I'm having a lot of fun. This is great. I'm gonna leave the big tree, obviously, this great wood. Now, I can destroy all of this in one swing. That would be amazing, but I'm leaving it. And we'll leave this silver wood here as well. Just for now. Because they're both Thorncraft trees. So this is where we'll have Thorncraft. I'm going to build, like,